Welcome, everyone, to a piece of college football history as we crown this season's national champion. There's been so much that's gone into getting here, twists and turns, and now it builds to this, the battle for supremacy. And what a matchup this is. Two survivors of the expanded college football playoff grind, two of the top four seeds when it all began. Both sides have been challenged and pushed all year and through the playoff. Now it's time to find out who can take that final step, as we'll see the third seed in this playoff. The Pittsburgh Panthers taking on a squad from the Pac-12, the Washington Huskies. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Chris Fowler, joined as always by Kirk Herbstreit. And this is it. Two teams enter, one team leaves here as national champions. Let's get this going. The kickoff team is out there, and you can feel the energy. One game to determine the national championship. Fields it inside the 5-yard line. And the returner is brought down. First down play call. How aggressive will it be? It's an option look. Pitch play to the back. Brought down after a 7-yard gain, so it's 2nd and 3.
Boy, nice call here to start this national championship game off with a physical run. I think this offensive line has been a strength all year long, and here they get this game started the right way.
2nd down after that run in the previous play. They'll run the option. Oh, the ball comes loose. Defense has got the football. Touchdown, Panthers. A fumble return for 6. That's a scoop and score. Defense making a monster play there.
Well, he's a so big when he saw that ball pop out, chance to pounce on it, and instead of doing it the more conservative way and just falling on it, he decides to take it to the house for a touchdown, something he'll remember for the rest of his career.
And it's 7-0 after the VAT. Kickoff team on the field getting set now. He's going to return it from near the goal line. And the coverage team able to bring him down. And the Washington offense heads back out on the field. They'll run it to the right side. And the senior able to make the stop after a short gain.
The defensive coordinator this week already telling us about gap integrity, not giving this running back any creases at all. Really sound defense on that play.
Short pass finds the tight end. Big man finally brought down by the cornerback. That was a tough assignment. So let's see what they like here on 3rd and short from inside their own 20. Important to pick up this first down. Quick pass. Here comes a jet sweep. They go backwards on that 3rd down completion. Sets up a 4th down.
How about this? The offense gets the ball to one of their playmakers out in space, but the defense, the athletic ability on that side of the ball does a good job of bringing him down short of the first down.
Quarterback making some changes at the line. They flip it to him on the jet sweep. He's past the 30. Heads out of bounds after a solid gain, more than enough to pick up a first down. Washington getting set for the 1st and 10 now. Looking to throw it again. Bringing pressure. Oh, a sack. The senior on this defense making a big play.
A really good job by this defense. The quarterback looked to be trying to work through his progressions to find his open receiver, but before he knew it, he's on his back.
Here's a screen pass to the running back. Tackle finally made. That's a very solid gain, but not close to first down yardage. The offense facing a tough conversion here. 3rd and long from the 42. Drop him back. He's going to throw for the first down. And they hit him just as he releases the ball. It's incomplete.
Chris, I don't know if it's the hype of the national championship, the timing between the quarterback and his receivers, but they have not been able to get anything going at all here in the first half. And the problem is they're already down in this game. They've got to put the ball through the air and start hitting some passes, or there's no chance they come back and have a chance to win.
4th down, looking to throw for it. They can't connect. A costly turnover on down.
I really thought that this was going to work out. Showing an aggressive approach here, going for it on 4th down. Looked to be there. They just weren't able to complete it.
Offense moving backwards after that holding penalty. This line getting set up. It's a first down play. There's the snap. They'll set up to throw. Looking to make a play deep downfield. And the pass is dropped incomplete, but it had a huge gain. Took his eye off the ball.
Chris, I thought he had his hands on that football. I thought he was going to come down with it. But give the defense all the credit with a big hit to knock that ball loose.
Here's the 2nd down play. There's the snap. Quarterback setting up to throw. Trying to create outside the pocket now. Looks to the left for a quick throw. The defender gets a hand in there to break the pass up.
Some players just have a real knack for timing their jump, and that defender was able to get a big call on the ball and bat it away.
Incompletion brings up 3rd down. Looking to pass here. And he decides to just roll it away. That's going to bring up 4th down now.
Boy, this is all about the defense here. Nice stop here on 3rd down, but really it's about trying to get this offense behind the sticks. Once you get them behind the sticks, you can mix up your coverages, really affect the quarterback's eyes and disrupt the timing and the rhythm of of what the offense is trying to do. Now we've got another big fourth down coming up.
Looking for the wide out. Downfield and incomplete. A fourth down stop.
This is the chance you take here as an offensive coordinator and a play caller. You go for it here, you draw it up perfectly, you think this is the right play, and then the execution is not there. So the defense catches a break, and they get the ball back to their own offense.
It's a quick grab. He's brought down, but the game moves the ball to the 39.
Great conversion here for this Washington offense and another first down. And I'll tell you, this guy's living up to the expectations of a Washington quarterback. They've had some great play out of that position over the years.
Physical running, fights off the defender. He's into the end zone, but there is a marker down, so hold everything. And the head coach will decide to accept the penalty and take the yardage. Fresh set of downs for the offense, first down. Quarterback's got it on the option. He'll toss it to the back. That's a nice tackle there by the senior.
Well, this guy's got some wiggle, and you can see there he's got some power. He's able to break through one arm tackle, but the secondary comes up to finish him off.
Running out of time in the pocket. He's got a man down the middle. When they bring him down, that's a very solid gain, but still well short of the marker. Not going to be easy here. Backed up a long way to go for a first down. Drops back, looking to throw for it on third down. Makes a quick catch. They bring him down, but an explosive play by this offense. Big game.
What a clutch play here by this offense to convert on third down. I know it's still early in this game, but the fact that they dug themselves a hole to convert there and keep this drive alive, they got a new set of downs and a chance to dig into this lead.
They're going to run the option. Pitches to the back. He's got some room. Can he get there? Wants to run a bounce close to the end zone.
Nothing better than an offense on first down to be able to pick up big positive yards like that. You can either keep giving it to the back, or you can set up play action and get the defense to come up to the line of scrimmage, and you can throw it over top of it.
On the ground, trying to power toward the goal line. Couldn't quite get there, but brought down at the 1-yard line. The Huskies hustle to the line to run the hurry up. Clear movement before the snap, and it'll be a false start. Pretty easy call for the head coach. He will accept that penalty, of course. Offense facing second and goal. Fakes the handoff here, looking to throw it. He's escaping the pocket now. Makes the grab in the end zone. Touchdown, Huskies.
That kind of play is almost impossible to defend. When the quarterback is throwing the ball with that kind of accuracy and timing, and the receiver runs a route like this, good luck trying to stop it. So maybe this is a great start for this combination, this quarterback and receiver, for a big day.
Now they get set to kick it away. Returner decides to field it. He stopped at the 19. Good job by the coverage team. And the Pittsburgh offense is back out on the field. Last time the defense got a big fourth down stop. Let's see what the offense can do this time. On first down, it's play action. And it's the senior getting home with the sack. Their own 8-yard line now. It's second and long. And he'll set up to throw. Running back has it on the screen now. They bring him down. That's a very solid game, but still well short of the first down.
Man, isn't it fun to watch running backs who can add that dimension to the passing game? They're so dangerous because once they catch the football, they're operating in much more open space than they would be if they're just getting a handle. And it really tests the line.
That deep shot is caught for a big gain. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. It was a foot race and he won it.
Because how dangerous is this offense? Well, of course, you know about the receivers, those vertical shots, but here's an example. You get the ball and the running back out in space, takes it all the way to the end zone for a touchdown. Now
the line to kick the extra point. He PAT makes it a 7-point lead. Now the kickoff team is out on the field. They'll return it from inside the 5. And the coverage team pins him in and brings him down. First down here for this offense. Looking out throwing here to start the drive. That's reeled in. It's Harris. They bring him down, but he was fast enough to get that first down yardage. They're trying to run it with the option. And the defense able to bring him down to wrap up the first quarter of play. Here we go. First play of the quarter. Offense setting up for a second down play. A pre-snap motion from the offense. It's a shotgun run call. And the sophomore able to bring him down quickly.
Chris, you know, the spread era over the years has always grown offensively. What I've been always impressed with defenses that really build their defense to play in space still have an ability to be sound at the line of scrimmage and defend a running game. It's exactly what we saw right there.
Quarterback making adjustments now to what the defense is showing. Drops back, needing a third down completion here. And he's going to stretch the defense, taking a deep shot here. Oh, and he breaks free. It's a foot race. Touchdown, Washington. Strong game by this quarterback. And this national championship game is now dead even, Kirk. We're going to have a fun finish here.
Yeah, maybe I'm being hopeful, but this has the makings of an instant classic right now. The way these teams are matching each other at an elite level in the national championship, it's getting more advanced the further we go. I'm with you. Maybe it comes down to the wire.
Getting set to kick the ball off now. And the returner decides to signal fair catch. And the Pittsburgh offense is back out on the field. Each offense has been clicking, scoring touchdowns in their last possessions. Quarterback leaves the pocket on the move now. And the pass will fall incomplete on the scramble attempt. Good coverage there.
It is really tough on a quarterback when he thinks he's got a completion and an open man downfield. The ball's just about to get to his receiver, then out of nowhere, the defensive back steps in front of it and knocks away. Nice job.
Here's the option play. He'll pitch it. And heads out of bounds after a decent game.
I tell you, to be able to pick up a nice game like that, those offensive linemen have to sustain their blocks. Gave him a chance in a really nice game.
It's third down after that run. Here's the snap. Offense looking to throw the ball. This one's going to fall incomplete. Brings up fourth down.
Man, on your own side of the field, you're playing a risky game here. Third and short. Your goal should just be keep this drive alive the best way you can sometimes. Just hand the ball off to your running back and have him get behind that offensive line and go to work. Curious to see what they do now here on this fourth and short.
That's a solid game there. He keeps it and picks up the first down himself.
Trent showed guys that are continuing to go for it on fourth down. But what's crazy to me, Chris, is deep in your own territory to go for it on fourth down. It's a big risk, but it pays off here.
Makes the catch downfield. And he picks up the first down before they get to the ground.
That's another positive game here for this offense, and this defensive coordinator is going to have to make some kind of adjustments to get this quarterback out of his rhythm. It's the national championship, man. You've got to take chances and mix up your coverages because right now what you're doing just isn't working.
Picks the ball up as he's hit, but it's incomplete.
Man, he got crushed there, didn't he, Chris? And we know this guy is their superstar. He's their leader. But based on that last play, this offensive line's got to do a better job of recognizing that they got to take care of him.
It's incomplete. He was hit as he threw that time. And now third down coming up.
Well, Well, sometimes an answer for an offensive coordinator against a good pass rush is to move the launching point, move the quarterback from one spot to another to affect the rhythm of the pass rush. That's not having any kind of impact at all on this defense. They're getting after this quarterback no matter where he is. They do a good job of it right here.
He fires this one to the right, had all day to throw. Intercepted right near the end zone. What a play. Big takeaway, now looking for a big return. So a great return following the pick, and finally able to get him down. The Washington offense retakes the field here. And the last sentence with a touchdown. Can they keep clicking here, or the defense come up with a stop? Oh, and he fumbles. Looks like the offense able to recover it there.
Wow, that is big-time awareness by his teammate to get on top of that football. As a result, they catch a break and are able to retain possession.
They'll try the option play here. Pitch to the back. Breaks loose at the 45. He's tackled after a big gain. Picks up a first down. Great execution of the option. They trust the left side of that offensive line and come up with a huge play on the ground.
Yeah, your favorite, Chris, there. No pin and pull there, the left side. Great blocking on the left side, able to create a great push. Nice crease, and the back found that with the vision. Picks up some big yards for that first one.
And the sack is made. That's a nice play there by the sophomore.
Well, they're making this offensive line really think and communicate. Bringing different blitzes. This time the outside linebacker gets to the quarterback and comes up with a big sack for the D.
But they don't make the connection. That one is incomplete. Down play now, trying to keep this impressive drive going. Oh, a reverse. He's not going to get the first down. It's fourth down. The Huskies will come to the line here looking to convert on fourth down. Quarterback pre-snap adjustments now for this defense. He's throwing for it on fourth down. With the catch, it's Harris. They bring him down, but a big chunk of yardage on the play.
Hey, they hit this for the first down, and I kind of like the approach. Be aggressive. Show your players that you believe in them, especially early in a game like this. Take a chance, and here it works out for them.
They make the stop to get the ball carrier down.
Chris, textbook job by the defense, surrounding the runner and preventing that play from being bounced to the outside.
Takes the handoff, looking to throw. On the run here, lets it go. That's caught. It's Robinson. Tackled quickly after the catch. He'll be short of the marker. We'll take a quick pause before the half as we reach the 2-minute warning. Crucial third down coming up in the red zone. Can they keep the drive going, or will they have to settle for 3? Here's the snap. Quarterback looking to throw. It's a screen pass complete to the running back. The gain is not enough for first down, so it brings up a fourth and short.
A lot of times this can be a tough play to defend because you're so concerned with getting pressure on the quarterback. But here the defense does a good job of coming off it.
It's a fake. He wants to throw it here. Looking to the end zone. Intercepted in the end zone. Offense is back out on the field. They had it going in the last drive, but it ended abruptly with the interception. Let's see what they can do here. Oh, the pass is picked off. Touchdown, Huskies. Wow, what a play, defensive score. The takeaway and the touchdown, that is just a dream play for any defender.
Well, let's start with the interception. I just love the fact that he got his eyes turned around, found the football, and then has the athletic ability to be able to secure it. Then he goes back to high school running back days and shows him what he can do with the ball in his hands and takes it all the way back for a touchdown. Beautiful thing.
Looks like they're lining up to attempt an onside kick. And the hand seam able to recover the football.
All I can think of is maybe they saw something in the first quarter that made them think that an onside kick would work here, but they came up a bit short. Now we'll see if their defense can hold them and limit the damage.
It's an option look. And they finally stop him. The quarterback keeper picks up great yardage and a first down. And the Panthers come up to the line to crank the tempo up here. They'll run the option. The back's got it on the pitch. They make the tackle there, but a penalty marker is on the field. Let's see what that's about. So the offense will decline the penalty and just take the result of that play. Now it's second down here. Here's the snap, looking to throw here. He's moving out of the pocket now. He's picked for a third time tonight. Not much room in that return. Tackled at the 16, but an important takeaway for this defense.
Well, this guy obviously did what he needed to do to get himself ready for this game. It's a favorable matchup. He's got a lot of confidence. He's already come up with 2 interceptions in this game alone. Locked in on what he needs to do to be in position and making plays for this defense.
So after the incompletion, it's second down. Drops back from the shotgun, making for an open man. Catch made on the right side. And timeout is called to talk strategy. Close game here as we approach halftime.
One thing I love about this back is how he gets involved in the passing game. Nice catch here.
The catch makes it a more manageable third down. And the quarterback dropping back. And it's complete downfield. Tackled at the 44, but good enough for a first down. And the offense will now quickly spend a timeout.
That's a great feeling when your quarterback can make a throw that keeps the drive alive. Not as good as a touchdown, but it's a lot better than having to trot over to the sideline waiting for your turn to get another chance.
Looking for a deep completion. The catch is made for a huge pickup. And he takes it all the way to the end zone. Touchdown, Washington.
This guy can do it all. We've seen him go behind coverage and make plays downfield. We can see him catch the ball underneath, just like this. And when he catches a football, he is so dangerous after the catch. This one leads him into the end zone for the 6 points.
So the offense gets momentum, scoring before halftime. Now the kickoff. We'll see if the defense can get his top and preserve that momentum. And the Pittsburgh offense is back out on the field. Backed up this close to the end zone in the final minute. Let's see if they just decide to take care of the football and look toward the second half. Looking to set up a screen pass here. Defense makes the tackle, but that screen produces a pretty solid game. They'll crank up the tempo here with the clock ticking down. Second down. From the shotgun, drops back. And that's just thrown away. A pretty obvious intentional grounding call. Yeah, here's the marker. Well, a serious challenge for this offense. You don't want to be in third and long inside your own 20. How much of a risk will they take to try to pick up this first down? Quarterback sets up, looking for an open man. Incomplete. He was hit as he threw the football there on third down.
The quarterback did all he could here to wait until the last possible moment, but he waits just a hair too long, which allows the defense to actually hit him as he throws the ball.
Returner tackle right there. That's where they start the drive. So the offense looking to be efficient here. Not much time remaining before the end of the half. First down, looking to throw the ball. Running back grabs it on the screen. Good job of the defense to fight through the blocks in that screen. He's short of the first down marker. So a timeout is called. Just a few seconds left here in the first half. quarterback wants to throw it on second down. Pump over the middle. It's Harris. They get him down, but not before he gets to the +38. The offense calls a timeout here. That's their third and final of the half. So just before halftime here, out comes the field goal here. Field goal try, no good. And the lead remains at 13 after the miss. Miller's going to wrap up the first half here. Let's kick it now to Kevin Connors with our halftime update. And the Huskies will kick this away to start the second half. And he'll bring it out from inside the 10. Gets across the 25-yard line. They'll spot it at the 27. And the Pittsburgh offense is back out on the field. And they'll start the third quarter here on the ground. Breaks loose at the 40. Breaks clear. End zone ahead. Tackle made after a big gain.
How about staying right there on the right side of that offensive line? I wouldn't be surprised if they keep going back to the well, pounding it behind that right guard and right tackle and tight end, seeing what additional damage they can do.
They stop him at the 22. This offense in great scoring position now. Panthers come to the line and want to hurry up.
There's a great ability by this quarterback to get outside of the pocket and place the football right where it needs to be for the first down.
Pitt now operating in the red zone. They'll look to throw it here on second down. Quarterback looks to his right and finds his man. Ball carrier tackled at the 2. A solid gain on that completion.
Defense kind of lost the running back here. Makes a nice catch. Gets the first down in the process.
The Panthers line it up with first and goal. And he's brought down right at the line. They'll swat the ball still right there at the 2.
That back just had nowhere to go. Got to give credit to the defense and their run fits on that play.
On second and goal, they'll give him another chance. Couldn't quite get in. They're knocking on the door at the 1. He moves the ball to the 1. Third down and goal. They'll try to run this one in. Muscles across the goal line. Touchdown. That's a crucial response by this offense, but still plenty of work to do here in the third quarter.
I love that they're still fighting and competing. You can tell they've made some adjustments at half and try to get them back into this game. And that score is a great start.
And the PAT is good. Kickoff teams come on the field now to send this one away. And he takes this from inside the 5. Returner brought down. Sets up the next drive. And the Washington offense is back out on the field now. They need something out of this possession. The last time they settled for a field goal attempt, but then they missed it. Fighting him off. And the game moves the ball to the 20-yard line.
Great job by the offensive line here, opening up some holes and giving the running back room to run on first down. Plays like this open up the playbook for the play caller, allow him to make that defense think, are they going to run? Maybe play action, maybe throw the ball downfield.
Grab behind the line, it's Harris. They'll get him, but he put the spin cycle on that defender. Wow.
Boy, a really good ball here by his quarterback to be able to pick up this first down. And hey, this guy is living up to the legacy of what Washington quarterback play has been for a number of years, going way back to Warren Moon and Mark Brunell, and more recently with Jake Browning, and of course the last couple years with Michael Penix.
Second down after that run in the previous play. He hands it off from the gun. They tackle him at the 48, but it's enough for a new first down.
You know, offensive linemen are just a certain breed. They're always going to do their job, no matter who's back there carrying the ball. I'll tell you what, they have a little bit more confidence when the person that's carrying the ball can break off some big-time runs. That makes them block just a little bit harder, knowing what he's potentially capable of doing.
Nice grab. It's Harris. That's an explosive gain. They've got him, but the gain all the way to the 28.
And with that completion right there, this quarterback now has gone over 300 yards in this game. What a day.
Oh, it's a reverse. Tackle made after a nice pickup on the play. Washington getting set for the 1st and 10 now. Snapping it from the red zone now, looking to throw. That's incomplete, even on a 1st down pass attempt. He felt heavy pressure.
We finally see a change-up from this defense. It is a long game for this defensive coordinator. A lot of touchdown passes. They finally find a way to affect the timing between the quarterback and his receivers by getting pressure.
Offense facing a 3rd down now. They can still get a 1st down without scoring. Now here comes the flea flicker. Hit as he released it. And he's got it. Touchdown, Huskies. Another touchdown strike. You win national championships with elite quarterback play. And Kirk, this guy's putting on a show.
I mean, this is a national championship. Can you imagine having this kind of performance? This is something that we'll always remember. Right now, this defense is overmatched with his ability to throw the ball and the receivers' jobs of running routes. Everything's in sync right now.
The kickoff team on the field now as they get set to send this one away. This one will be fair caught. And the Panthers offense is back out on the field. They punched it into the end zone the last time. Let's see if this defense has made some adjustments to stop them this time. Nowhere to run. A corralling for no gain.
Chris, you know me. I love to see defensive backs and especially corners that are willing to come up and get physical against the run game. What a job of making that play in space. No gain because of the play of that corner.
Under pressure, just lets it go. It's incomplete. He took a hit as he threw the football, and it brings up a 3rd down.
Well, the pass rush does a good job of chasing him out of the pocket. He's trying to buy some time looking downfield, but you better be careful being too patient. He gets hit as he throws this football, and it falls incomplete.
On 3rd down, he drops to throw, fires it to the wideout, and he pulls in the catch. Breaks into the clear. It's a sprint. Inside the 10. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. No chance to catch it.
Chris, as you know, anytime you hit a big post route like this for a touchdown, the timing between the quarterback and the receiver is essential. Nice job of not waiting too long. The quarterback takes a hitch, gets the ball out early, and allows his receiver to run underneath the beautifully thrown football for the touchdown.
And here's the return from inside the 5. And the return will be brought down. And the Huskies offense is back out on the field. The last possession was a beautiful, balanced touchdown drive. Can the defense come up with answers this time? He tosses it back. Heavy pressure, he lets it go. And it's incomplete on the throwaway. Couldn't find anybody open. Brings up a 2nd down now. After the incompletion on 1st down, looking to throw it again. It's a short completion to the big tight end. But he's hammered by the linebacker. What a hit.
That's another accurate throw by this quarterback. And Chris, when we did our prep to get ready for the national championship, we all knew that this quarterback potentially could have a big day. But I didn't expect him to get into this kind of zone. This guy cannot miss. Just having one of those dream performances.
So on 3rd and inches, they try to throw for it, and it backfires. You have to question that call, perhaps.
Anything on the ground. Quarterback sneak, an easy inside run would have gotten this 1st down. It's clear that they made the wrong decision. They rolled the dice, and man, does it backfire.
Can they catch him? You can See, he's a dangerous return man. They finally grab him, but he sets the offense up in pretty good field position. And the Pittsburgh offense is back out on the field. They reached the end zone the last time out, trying to do the same thing here. He's running out of time here. He's hit right as he throws it. Incomplete.
Well, these guys just continue to struggle throwing the football. You know, whether it's been running the wrong route, the quarterback not being accurate, the offensive line not doing their job. It's been a collective effort, and it's a big reason why they're trailing now in this game.
QB tries it again here on 2nd and 10. Trying to extend the play. On the move, trying to scramble for the first down. Comes up short. This is crucial. Defense needing to stop on 3rd down, trying to force a field goal. They'll try to move the chains here on the ground. They'll stop him behind the line for a loss of 1. Here we go. Down 1 score. They're going to go for it on 4th down. There's the snap. Looking to throw the ball. He's got it near the end zone. And he steps out of bounds close to the goal line. Couldn't quite punch it in there. And the replay booth has signaled they want to stop and have another look at this one. Well, they took a look just to confirm it, but it looks like they got it right on the field. After the review, the play will stand. Great chance for the offense to tie the game. 1st and goal. They try to muscle toward the end zone on the ground. Fights his way into the end zone. Touchdown. Pitt. We had a short field. The offense did exactly what they're supposed to do. That would have been a big ask for the defense there.
Absolutely. But when you're given that kind of field position, anything less than a touchdown would be a disappointment. They did exactly what they needed to do by capitalizing on that short field.
He does his job with the PAT. This ballgame is tied here in the 4th quarter. There's a kickoff team. Let's see if they give the returner opportunity to bring this back. Return starts from inside the 5. And he stopped at the 20, trying to make something happen, but that's good coverage there. And the Washington offense heads back out on the field. Last time was a quick 3 and out. Can they get a drive going this time? The offense with some pre-snap eye candy. He'll hand it off. They'll stop him behind the line for a loss of 1.
Chris, I think we all kind of get caught up in 3rd down. What is the offense doing on 3rd down? But I think what's also important is how well you defend 1st down. If you can hold your opponents to a short gain or a tackle for a loss, you throw the offense out of whack, and their game plan gets much more challenging to try to come up with that 1st down.
Offense been in reverse here. Now a long way to go to convert this 3rd down. They'll try the right here. He stopped short of the marker, so it's 4th down now. The Huskies will send their punt team onto the field. And he'll kick it away now for the 2nd time. They'll kick it away here. Fair catch called for, but there's a flag down. We'll see what that's about. So contact after the fair catch signal. It'll cost them. 1st down play call coming up. How aggressive will it be? They'll go with the ground game here. Running back takes the handoff. Tackle made after a solid run by the junior.
Coaches told us in the pregame production meetings they love this back's mixture of speed out the speed, but he also showed the ability to break tackles on that route.
And looking to throw now on first down. He's looking to make a big play downfield. Touchdown, Panthers. They jump in front here in the fourth.
This guy is a matchup problem. You put an undersized safety who can run with the tight end, and he's going to go over top of him. You put a big, strong linebacker on him, and he's going to outrun him. Just a really tough matchup, as you saw right there.
And they tack on the extra point. Pickup teams on the field. Let's see if they give the returner a chance to bring this one back. Fields it just outside the goal line. And the returner brought down by the coverage team there. And the Washington offense retakes the field here. And here's the handoff. They get him to the ground about the 18-yard line.
It's exactly what you want to see as a play caller. You get positive yards to be able to kind of keep you on schedule as a play caller. That's all you can ask for. Good job up front and a nice run.
Second down after that run on the previous play. And the quarterback looking to make a play through the air. Looking to scramble. Throws the ball away, but not before taking a hit.
I mean, this defense is having their way with this offensive line. That poor quarterback doesn't have a chance. Every time he drops back to throw, he's getting earhole. You better make some adjustments up front to give your poor quarterback a chance.
And he'll drop back here on third down. He's moving out of the pocket. Deep ball is caught for a huge gain here. That's a huge gain. Stop finally made it to 43.
Boy, the defense missed an opportunity to here put a lot of pressure on this offense. They allow them to convert. They could have got them to fourth down with the lead that they have. Boy, this could have been a knockout punch.
Tackle made at the 24-yard line. This offense really threatening them.
Boy, how about that play, Chris? That thing just opened up. The back shot through there with great acceleration. What a pickup there on first down.
The offense getting closer to a game-tying touchdown. It's 1st and 10. Off the play fake, looking to throw. And the pressure gets home. It's a sack.
Between the defensive scheme and the athletic ability this front and the linebackers getting pressure as well, the way they've been able to harass this quarterback has a lot to do with why they're enjoying such a big lead in the national title.
The sack sets up a second down and very long. Fires it to the wideout. And the ball is picked off. Short return tackled at the 21, but that's a huge takeaway for this defense.
Oh, man, Chris, I really thought this offense had a chance to get back into this game. The only thing you'd hate to see is the interception. Give credit to the defense. They come up with a big play that potentially ices the game.
Quarterback escapes the pocket and takes off. Caught way downfield for a huge gain. He's brought down, but there is a penalty marker out there. Let's check out this call. The offense will obviously decline that penalty and take the resulting play. The guys up front line up. It's first down. Looking out throwing here to start the drive. Lets it go quickly. He's got it for a big gain. You bring him down at the 5. Solid game, though, in the completion.
The defense is spread all over the field, creating some one-on-one matchups, and the quarterback makes you pay for it.
So it's 1st and goal. The offense will try to milk the clock and add points if they can. From the gun, he looks for an open man. It's the running back in the flat. And he'll take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
Oh, this is how you start to get rolling. That's 2 touchdowns so far, and the more he gets fed, the more often he's going to cash in.
Kicking team out for the PAT try. Extra point up and good. A 2-touchdown lead here now in the 4th quarter. Here's the kickoff team now, set to move this one away. Fields it inside the 5-yard line. He'll be tackled at the 17. Strong job by the coverage team. First down here. Time for one more play before the clock stops for the 2-minute warning. First play of the drive, they'll come out throwing. Fired into a tight window and picked off. Excellent field position here for the offense. Off the play fake on first down. He's moving out of the pocket. There's a shot toward the end zone. Tried to press the ball deep, but it's incomplete.
That ball just seemed to sail on it. You got to make sure to give your receiver a chance to be able to come down with a catch and bounce, because in today's game, man, these receivers make catches like this all the time. And if you put the ball out of bounds, you're not going to give them that opportunity.
Incomplete, so it's second down and 10. Here's a throw underneath to the back. Breaking tackles. Defense makes the stop very close to a first down.
Well, the running back that time just kind of sneaks out of the backfield and shows his hands on that nice catch.
Now it's third and short from the 22. We expect this is 4-down territory. Let's see what they do on third down. Fights through the tackle. Good enough for first down yardage. The Panthers come to the line in a hurry-up. They'll work the clock here with the running game. Coming to the line on second down. This is important. They want to avoid a third and long. Here comes a handoff. And he's finally tackled at the 3. Defense getting pushed backwards. The Panthers looking to finish the drive here. It's first and goal. On the ground, trying to punch it in for the score. He takes it in for the score. Touchdown.
I think we're starting to kind of see a theme here, Chris, today. That's his second touchdown. The offensive line doing their job, and he's doing an outstanding job of just leading the defense, finding the hole, and being able to pick up big yards and touchdowns.
And it's picked off in the end zone. I believe they're going to line up here and go for the onside kick. It looks like the hands team were able to recover the football.
Hey, it's the fourth quarter here. They're trying to get that football back. I don't blame them. Unfortunately, they couldn't come up with it.
And the Washington offense is back out on the field now. This thing is so out of hand. All you can do now is play for a little shred of pride. Receiver makes the grab. The defense all over it. They stop it right at the line.
I can see what the quarterback's trying to do here, Chris. And he gets the completion, but just no gain. There's just no room to go after the catch.
And the wideout goes in motion. Second down, we're going to throw it. There's a screen pass to the running back. And now the defense will call a timeout here. There's something they didn't like about that look, and they'll make an adjustment before this important play. They come to the line, a long way to go for the first down, but needing this crucial conversion right now. A pop pass on the jet sweep. Oh, and a fumble here. Can you believe it?
Well, already playing with the lead here in the national championship, this defense is opportunistic. Eyes on the football, running to the ball, good team pursuit. When that ball hits the ground, they jump on top of it for a critical turnover.
And the Pittsburgh offense is back out on the field. Across the 45 now. Oh, and nothing but green grass ahead. At the 10. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. And the beatdown continues.
You know, coaches love to see a football team that doesn't get caught up in the scoreboard. They're just out executing and doing what needs to be done. That's what we're seeing from this offense. Yeah, they continue to put points on the board and they're pulling away. I just love to see the execution and how they're going about their business.
Pressure is coming. Oh, and it's batted down by the defense. Great play to deny a touchdown. I believe they're lining up to attempt an onside kick. And the hands team able to make the crucial recovery. So here comes the first play of the drive. They'll begin at their own 46. On 1st and 10, they'll look to throw it. Quarterback escapes the pocket. That's the 3rd pick tonight thrown by this QB. Breaks a tackle into the clear. And he's got some open field ahead. Going to take it all the way in. Pick 6. Touchdown, Pitt.
Great job here by the defense coming up with yet another play where they are just pouring it on today, dominating in every phase.
Now the try for the 2-point conversion. Quick pass. Here comes a jet sweep. He makes it into the end zone to add 2 more to the lead.
Well, that's when you know an offensive coordinator has confidence in his running game. 2-point conversion, no problem. Rely on the back and his vision with that great blocking up front to get you the 2 points.
Receiving team makes the recovery. The hands team does its job perfectly. First down play call. How aggressive will it be? They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. And he's going to fling it deep, going for it all here. Intercepted in the end zone. Not much on the return, but the defense comes up with a takeaway.
Just a great job of anticipating that and coming up with a big interception by this defense. Because they have this lead, they really force this offense to become one-dimensional. They're expecting the ball to be into the air. The defensive backs have their eyes on the ball, and they're able to capitalize with a big pick here in the national title.
The ball falls to the ground, and we have a national champion. What an emphatic statement to close out this national championship run. You know, the coach told his guys, go out there and leave no doubt. I'd say mission accomplished.
Well, sometimes a team wins a national championship and they just got hot at the right time. And there's other times when it's been clearly the best team in college football all year. To me, these guys have been right up there as a top team in college football, and it's very fitting that they not only win it, but they win it in grand fashion.
Well, that's going to do it for us and wrap up another outstanding season of college football. For Kirk Herbstreit, I'm Chris Fowler. This has been a presentation of EA Sports College Football. They are officially your kings of college football and national champions, the Pittsburgh Panthers.